Good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you may be. Welcome to Season 3 of Untold Legends podcast. I am Jing, freelance writer online, podcast researcher for individuals and companies in need of researchers for their enterprise. To new viewers and listeners, welcome and all. To everyone familiar with Season 2, welcome back. Thank you very much for your patience. Season breaks in between may have been longer than expected, but still, you are there to listen to the stories we have to share with you. Again, I am joined here by our host himself of his very own podcast, JoeDini. Hello, Joe.
Hi, what's going on, Jing?
Yes, everything is doing great.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's.
I can't wait. I'm good. I'm waiting. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, because I'm aware that you've done your own episode on this as well, since I'm happy to share this episode with you. An excellent opener. If you ask me, now that Untold Legends has returned on air, I hope my clog nose isn't so obvious in the background. Yeah. Anyway, I can't help but put my own spin on this topic as well. People might be saying, how can you include this in Untold Legends? Everyone has told something about it. Maybe not everyone yet, and everyone has his own spin to it. But yeah, your insights and my side comments would still be appreciated, and that would be great. I guess you can see the pizza on the screen, one of the screenshots that I made, because I admit that I'm not good at spotting undercooked food. I can only tell if it's by the time I'm eating it, but of course it's something else. Anyway, on our season 3 pilot episode of Untold Legends, we present you Amy's Baking Company. Amy's Baking Company has become the barometer for what bad online behaviors become. I try to focus on some of the cooking, base it on my experience or what I know, since I belong to that part of the Philippines that take culinary arts seriously. I'm not that good at it, though. I'm not yet as good as my mom or my sister when it comes to cooking, but I like to eat, so it would be an interesting topic for me, of course. And now, Amy's Baking Company has become the barometer as well for bad cooking videos and bad behavior, as I've mentioned, since every time bad culinary videos become a topic on YouTube or anywhere on social media, comparison with Amy's Baking Company is inevitable whenever food comes out bad. And we are just talking about the food, not the people that cooked it. And then you realize why Amy's Baking Company became one of the untold legends and the side of the internet for aspiring cooks anywhere, because it consists of a person incapable of handling feedback. I said person, not persons. Although we would go into that later. No matter how constructive, Amy of the eponymous restaurant will perceive it as a personal attack. Or so Sammy implied to Gordon Ramsay in that episode of Kitchen Nightmares. One of the websites I used as reference here was Arizona Central, since this is based on Arizona. And of course, there's a timeline here that they gathered. They compiled a timeline of events from way back to 2003, when Amy still used the name Amanda Bossingham. So that's why her name is Amy. It was at that time where, according to the article, it mentioned her first conviction for misuse of social security number. She misused that number when trying to apply for a bank loan. That's how serious it turned out to be. So she was reported for pleading guilty, but no mention of a plea deal, just noted that she did it to attempt to borrow $150,000. And then Sammy, spelled in the episode of Kitchen Nightmares as Samy, was an immigrant from Morocco that met Amy back in 2004. It simply skipped to the part where they got married in 2004 and then moved to Los Angeles. And then returned to Scottsdale, Arizona to officially open Amy's Baking Company. So they have been operating since 2007 and only thought of seeking help from Gordon Ramsay through kitchen nightmares. I am starting to believe some of the speculations online that some of these restaurants don't agree or won't agree to appear on Kitchen Nightmares unless they have reached desperate levels to save the restaurants. I'm not sure if you noticed that, Joe.
Well, the way that the Kitchen Nightmares used to operate was they would only go to some of the more major states like New York, California. It was very rare that they would go to a Midwestern state. It was very rare that you would get anything in the central part of the United States. It was very populated towards location. And the only way that a restaurant would get even featured on television is if the area was, suitable for television. It's not like Bar Rescue, for example, where they would go to the middle of nowhere just to save a bar. Kitchens, they were, and the network that ran it is Fox. So Fox has a tendency to want to go to the more sexier places. And they'll go, once they reach a sexy place, then they'll find the restaurant that's the least sexy, and they'll try to fix that up as much as possible so the sexiness continues to thrive in that city.
Interesting. So it's still about the demographics after all.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, as I was saying a while ago, since Kitchen Nightmares has its own YouTube channel now, I thought it was included in Gordon Ramsay's own channel. Apparently, there was a separate channel where I found it. There were a lot of re-uploads of that Kitchen Nightmares episode, and Kitchen Nightmares realized, we'll just upload our own episode and then people can still talk about it anyway. I got some notes from that episode. A lot of improvements happened on YouTube lately. It got easier for me to transcribe some of the notes, particularly the really shady parts of that episode, wherein it became obvious that Amy is the dominant partner here. Like, I don't want to call Sammy a cuck here, but it seems like Amy is so dominant. It's like Sammy's like, yeah, go ahead, take the floor. And besides, the restaurant is named after Amy anyway, so she got to say her opening salvo. Opening salvos in that episode wherein the restaurant owner was allowed to say his or her piece, and then she got to say some good things about the restaurant. It served as a premonition, or I think the word that can be used is prelude or foreshadowing. There you go. That's the word that was used. And here, Amy said, "It was at a very early age that I discovered I had a real true passion and talent for anything having to do with the culinary arts." She continued, "So in 2006, Sammy invested over $1 million into this restaurant to make my dream come true," unquote. Notice the choice of words used here. She referred to the investment Sammy poured by 2006 when this restaurant was reported in Arizona Central as opened by 2003. So, lying by omission, maybe. So, Amy went on to say, and I quote, "But we're in the restaurant business. It's not all daisies and ponies and unicorns," unquote. And apparently she's referring to online feedback, stating, "Apparently, 2 years ago, these reviewers and these bloggers decided to make up lies and say that they ate the food and it was disgusting," unquote. I'm like, maybe you've seen some of those Yelp reviews.
I saw a little bit of them when they were there, yes.
Okay, yeah, don't worry. I found the archives where the other posts were found. Maybe not the Yelp, but I found some of the ones in Facebook. And even if they were on Facebook, they were ranting on people against Yelp and Reddit. More on that later. So here. So I love how that episode is edited with snippets of Amy muttering expletives under her breath before going back to her speech, bewailing the business loss to these haters. Like, which restaurateur calls their verified customers as haters? What's this? High school? Uh, oh, God. So, yeah, as expected, it's not always the chefs and the cooks facing the customers, it's the waiters or the servers. And in this episode, one server named Katie, whose job title is written as food runner, had to face those disappointed customers. Not angry, disappointed, just disappointed. So, it became an opportunity for Katie to share her insights, saying, and I quote, "There's a lot of things that are wrong with the food that she doesn't realize. Too garlicky, too buttery, too sweet, not cooked enough, too overdone." Unquote. And then another server, Miranda, shared how Sammy handled the feedback, saying, and I quote, "If someone has criticism, Sammy tells them, 'You don't know what the food is supposed to taste like.'" Unquote. I don't remember other people telling me that when I eat at the restaurants. Anyway, Sammy's answer to the feedback was confirmed once it's his turn to talk to Kitchen Nightmare, stating, and I quote, "Even if you don't know what is wrong with it, if anyone tell me that my wife's food is no good, I just tell them to leave the restaurant. I don't want them." Unquote. And then Sammy was even shown later sending out some customers angrily. Like, that's not how you do business. You're not supposed to send them away. You're supposed to be thankful that they're at least willing to pay you money to eat there. So later, Amy was shown serving a dish that she made extra spicy, implying her retaliatory nature by muttering under her breath, "I hope it hurts him." Yeah, that's an actual quote from the episode. This act was followed by Amy saying to the camera, "The customer is not always right, and I'm not here to take shit from anybody." Kitchen Nightmares, well, since it's Gordon Ramsay hosting it, of course, they have it uncensored. So here, Katie had to confirm what everyone is thinking at this point. Amy is nuts. That's what she said. That was what she said. And it was followed by a clip of Amy saying, and I quote, "I am going to really hurt somebody if they send me back my cake." Unquote. Amy then explained Katie then explained how nuts Amy is by saying, and I quote, "One second she's like a nice little Care Bear, and then the next second she's like Cruella de Vil." Unquote. So yeah, obviously she thought that Ramsay was just wasting his time to help this couple incapable of handling feedback. So, which is why I made a screenshot of the pizza here, and I realized that this is the one pizza that they're referring as soggy. Doesn't look like soggy to me, but then again, there are some pizzas that look cooked on the surface, but by the time and this is a thin crust pizza supposedly, then by the time that you try to eat it, it's soggy. I am not sure if you've had a soggy pizza in your life, Joe.
Oh, definitely. As an Italian, I've had my share of soggy pizzas. I could tell by the way this pizza looks that it's soggy. You could tell that the cheese is runny. That's the given factor. The fact that it's got like so much meat on it, you can tell that there's little portions of meat on the pizza, which, by the way, Italians, not Italian Americans, but Italians in Italy, they refuse to put meat on their pizza because the reason is that's why they don't like pepperoni pizza or meat lovers. The reason why that is that the meat soaks up all the heat when the pizza's being cooked. So the cheese doesn't get cooked properly. And that's one of the reasons why you have something like this where it's getting soggy. A, because it's probably not cooked enough at a proper temperature. And I assume they had a brick fire oven. It's not wood fire, which, by the way, wood fire much better to use for pizza than brick fire ovens.
Oh.
But they had a brick fire, and Amy probably just took it out when she realized the dough was getting burned, and then not realizing that probably didn't flip it over as much as they needed to. So there's many different ways you can cook pizza, but as far as I know, she's never learned how to make it in her life, which is a must if you're going to make pizzas.
Yeah. And, frankly, I don't expect her to have pizza in her restaurant since, I mean, the name is Amy's Baking Company. You're supposed to have some baked goods. Maybe not much about the Italian fare, but in case I have to state the obvious, Amy's not Italian, Sammy's not Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them got this right. So, yeah. So, yeah. And Amy calls cooking her passion, but instead of joy, she's funneling her anger at the customer that just made a comment about the food by wasting food, saying, unquote, I quote, "Sure, I'll burn it. This is not cooked enough. The food we're making is going straight to the trash, and there are starving people that could be eating it. But instead, these people decide what they're going to come fuck with my life." Unquote. That's her mindset. Like, I know, this may sound cliche to some people that like to cook, but when you're cooking and you're not happy with what you're cooking, the people trying to eat your food is not happy with what you're cooking, don't expect the food to taste good. It may sound cliche, but I hate to think that part of the reason why the food is not good is because Amy is constantly angry about what people think of her food. Like, she doesn't know this concept called feedback, And then, if ever the part where the customer decides to leave instead turns out to be scripted, I don't mind. I don't mind if this part is scripted. I would believe. Maybe the customers are planted by the producers or something. I mean, getting an idea how angry Amy could get. Some passive comments directed at how the food turned out and how long she made customers wait for the same pizza. It doesn't seem worth it. It doesn't seem worth waiting at all. And the scripted part on the part of the people that the production planted to elicit a reaction from Amy, I guess that was worth it. All of these things, the encounter with the customers, the verbal altercations, the threats to call the police, they happened the night before Gordon Ramsay finally arrived at the restaurant. So, you know how some restaurant owners act when it comes to regular people compared to that VIP, and Ramsay, as expected, was treated like a VIP. So Ramsay arrived with Sammy welcoming him. Amy found the opportunity to tell Ramsay that Sammy is her soulmate and to quote, "We're in this business together and we stand strong together. We have to because there's a lot of online bullies and haters and bloggers. We stand up to them. And I think we're the only ones that ever have as restaurant owners." Unquote. She's talking so fast in this episode. It kind of overwhelmed Ramsay. I can't blame him. But as expected, Amy is incapable of reading the room. Ramsay was looking around, but Amy chose to continue her sob story, running on 2x, like, speed twice the speed of normal conversation. It's like she's like trying to cram everything into her story. Like, she continued and said, "And they come and try to attack us and say horrible things that are not true because they're used to eating processed wood chips or used to eating for free and not from us." Unquote. I don't know where did she got that comment about the processed wood chips, but it's like she ran out of ideas to diss her haters. And since it's the first time that Ramsay met the couple, I had to be nice in changing the topic. Like, he'd like to see the kitchen before going back to talking about the haters. And as the episode went along, Sammy then admitted that he's not trained in the food industry. He's actually a developer, meaning he builds custom-built houses. He only got into the restaurant industry because, again, it was Amy's dream and passion, that it was her God-given talent, whatever God-given talent means. So Ramsey had to address the elephant in the room. Why is this couple claiming that they're doing everything on their own? I guess that's why they had to show how many servers this restaurant has. And then the couple answered, or more like Amy answered, she's doing most of the talking. She said that they don't find anyone else efficient enough. I'm quite rich coming from them, knowing that they still have a handful of servers left. And on the other hand, it's a good way to confirm for Ramsey himself that much of the horrible food served in this restaurant is the couple's fault. And Ramsey was just providing some comments about this is a mouthful, fig pear prosciutto pizza. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Prosciutto?
Oh, you got it right.
Oh, thank you. I'm afraid I would not get that right. Fig pear prosciutto pizza. There you go. Okay. So Ramsey didn't mind sweet pizza. He would mind having raw dough. He commented, "The dough is raw. I just feel it's raw." Unquote. And then he even peeled part of the slice of the pizza he got and showed it to Sammy. Sammy then claimed that the people love the pizza in this restaurant. I guess that's why this episode showed the people that tried ordering pizza and got a mouthful of expletives from the restaurant owners the moment they can't wait anymore. Well, for Katie, the problem is obvious. She said, and I quote, "I feel like Sammy sugarcoats a lot of what happens in the restaurant, so Amy gets this feeling that like everything she's doing is correct," unquote. Well, Sammy then justified his behavior by saying in another clip, and I quote, "I know my wife. She doesn't take the criticism. She will be shaking," unquote. I think it's obvious that she's really shaking while reacting to those or to those comments, passive comments, mind you. It's about the food, not about Amy, and yet she takes everything personally. So, of course, Ramsey had to tell Amy herself if Sammy can't. They sought out his help. As far as I know. I'm not sure if that's what you know, Joe. I'm based on what I know. It's these people that are seeking out Gordon Ramsay's help, and they're willing to appear in Kitchen Nightmares just for this. And then I remember that you explained part of the reason a while ago, and drama. You generate drama because you have problematic people, and obviously, Amy and Sammy are problematic people. They sought out his help, and then Ramsey gave it to them. As I get to the part where Amy's trying to get hold of herself while trying to cook again the pizza that Ramsey said is soggy, I realize she may have never been to culinary school. Because if she did, she'd be used to feedback. She'd be used to criticism. You did this pizza wrong. Do it again. You did this Caesar salad wrong. Do it again. And it's not supposed to be her problem anymore if food is wasted. But yeah, mindset. So this is why most of the archive Yelp reviews are found not on Yelp itself, because unfortunately those are dead links by now. I found them on websites like Phoenix New Times, and that blog by Matthew Woodward. Most of them are clearly written after the Amy's Baking Company episode was finally aired on Kitchen Nightmares. So in other words, it kind of confirmed that Amy's problem about Yelp really happened, but because of all the drama that's been going on, and it's been years anyway, that Yelp has decided not to keep those anymore. So first we would be going with the clip here. Let's see. This is the article I found that managed to preserve most of the Facebook posts that you see it there, Joe.
Yes, I do.
Okay. This has the Facebook post. This is one of the posts that was made before the Kitchen Nightmares episode got aired, wherein it doesn't it shows here that it was posted by Amy, since it says Sammy and I will stand strong through the oppression that has been thrown at us. We ask that our supporters keep us in their prayers through this rough and unjust time in our lives. Thank all of you and thank God. We will not bend to the will of these haters and sinners. I don't like this post. It sounds like, who's oppressing you? How? Since when have you become a political figure? So here, but as seen on the show, this is one of the earliest posts after the episode was aired. As seen on the show, she isn't all that great at taking criticism. I am not stupid. All of you are. Sorry. All of you are. You just do not know good food. It is not uncommon to resell things Walmart does not make electronics or toys, so lay off. Yeah, because this is where it was an allegation that they would be buying cakes from Walmart and then they would be reselling it on their restaurant and pass it off as their own creations. Of course, that's illegal. You're supposed to sell it as part of the reseller program if Walmart has it, and not as your own creation if you did not make it. It's like what they say, copyright infringement. So here, and then according to this blogger, Amy even lied to Gordon Ramsay about making the cakes herself, which she was super proud of, saying, oh god, all caps lock, "We do not need this, you stupid people. America is about reselling. It's not a big deal. The cakes we offer are expensive because we have to repackage and ship. Do not blame us because you cannot afford quality. The Yelpers and now the Reddits need to back off. You're not right just because of some TV show." Yeah, that happened. They officially turned against Gordon Ramsay simply because they don't like the feedback. And then, of course, Reddit community got hold of the story. You'd be amazed at how some people at Reddit would really archive some things. And then, of course, Amy reacted again. It became obvious that it's Amy posting here. And then she said, "To Reddit, I forbid you from spreading your hate on that site. This is my Facebook and I am allowing you to see my company on your hate-filled page." Huh? I don't think this is normal, Joe. Then Sammy, yeah,
you're not usually allowed to, go after your customers like that.
Yeah, you're killing your business that way. And then here, Sammy takes over the updates for a while and starts to threaten legal action. "This is Sammy. I am keeping note of all names here. We will be pursuing action against you legally and against Reddit and Yelp for this plot you have come together on. You are all just punks." Okay. Followed by his own series of threats. "To all the Yelpers and the Reddits, bring it on. You are just pussies. Come to Arizona. You are weaker than my wife and weaker than me. Come to my business. Say to my face, man to man, my wife is a jewel in the desert. You are just trash. Reddits and Yelpers just working together to bring us down. Pathetic." And then I love this comment here when I saw it. "A jewel in the desert? That's reaching. Maybe a wet camel fart in the desert, but even that is reaching. And quite frankly, an insult to both camels and farts." I miss the caps lock. Bring Amy back. Oh no. And oh god, this is sad. Before we continue to this episode of Untold Legends Season 3, I would like to ask a little favor from you. I would like you to click that VA Bootcamp affiliate link I have on the description box. Rest assured that you will get the best deals possible to learn better marketing skills and avoid the pitfalls that Amy and Sammy encountered in managing their own restaurant. Because if I am going to critique their business methods, I should at least offer an alternative to running your own enterprise, right? Thank you very much. Now back to the show. Okay, so now we are here on the archive reviews from Yelp since I tried checking out Yelp. I even tried checking out uh, the websites that used it as reference, like here, Phoenix New Times, and unfortunately, those pages are dead. So right now, the only source, maybe one of the sources that we can rely on in the aftermath of the episode from Kitchen Nightmares is this article, Top 10 Reviews from Amy's Baking Company on Yelp. And there's so many of them that they just tried to compile the top 10. Top 10 worst, either they're trolling or they're just expressing their disappointment, so to speak. So let's go with number 10. From Andrew from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I quote, "After hearing wonderful things about Amy's Baking Company, I immediately chartered a private jet from Florida to Arizona. On the limousine ride from the airport to the restaurant, I could barely contain my excitement to experience the greatest meal of all time. I walked inside with the biggest grin on my face and was quickly approached by Sammy, who asked me if I had a reservation. I did not have one, though the restaurant was empty, and I jokingly told him that I was sure he could accommodate me. It became quickly clear that Sammy did not have a sense of humor. He wielded a serrated bread knife and told me that he would slice me like the loaves of bread his wife bakes fresh if I disrespected him again. Uh, I don't even consider that as a joke. Doesn't come across as a joke to me. How about you?"
I mean, okay, let me start off by saying that this guy took a private jet all the way to a restaurant in Arizona, took a limo to this place. This is not like a Michelin star restaurant, mind you. This is just a restaurant in a development that got turned into a jiu-jitsu place later on. But the fact that he went through all of that money just to take it, and then to be told like, oh, it's disrespectful that I don't have a reservation at this place.
Wow.
The fact that you got a knife wielded on you, I mean, just because you didn't have a reservation in an empty restaurant. This is a very, very, this is somebody who really wants to, have control over the situation and not give customers any leeway whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like he's compensating for the control that he can't have over Amy. So let's go with number 9. And from Nancy B. This sounds like a troll. And I quote, "These stars given purely for the entertainment value associated with the episode Kitchen Nightmares they were featured on and the digital shit show that commenced afterward. I would probably go there just to see if I could catch some awesome Amy B batshit crazy action in person. But I'm not a fan of Arizona in general. It's as if Satan himself took a big hot shit there and then wandered on to vomit Texas up. I'm really, really, really hoping for a spin-off show on Bravo. Come on, Andy Cohen, work it out." Unquote. Andy Cohen is from Bravo, right?
Maybe at the time they were. I don't know now.
I'm not familiar with some of these states, but I'm only familiar with the story some other YouTuber told that if they think California is hot, then they should try Texas.
Or Florida, for that matter.
Oh my God. Yeah, and they'll realize what is hot. Anyway, so here, oh God, another mouthful dish name here, mentioned on number 8. I bought a package of Putney Pasta 3-cheese ravioli, my favorite pre-made ravioli, to Amy's Baking Company, and they were able to heat it very well. Oh, they're not good at cooking. They're good at heating.
Well, and we'll probably talk about the ravioli thing that Gordon had a problem with later on, but yeah, that's what they're referencing here.
Yeah. It's often the complaint anyway. Okay.
Mhm.
Number 7. This is the best tasting food I've ever eaten in my entire life. I could eat here for every meal of every day. It is that delicious. Amy is also the most beautiful and inspiring person I've ever met. She is so nice and treats all of her employees very well. This is definitely a real customer and absolutely not Amy and Sammy from Amy's Baking Company. Posted by Amy C., Scottsdale, Arizona. And yeah, I'm not supposed to nitpick on this, but really, costumer, Costumer, like can't even spell customer right. Oh,
I just like they couldn't get away with the fact that it's like, oh, your name is going to be at the bottom of this.
oh yes.
They're going to figure you out.
Oh yes. Yeah, since Sammy promised that he would be on the hunt for those names. Okay, number 6. Wow, what a fantastic place to eat. I came all the way from Boston after I heard about their stellar recipes and how much Gordon Ramsay had praised them on television. After being shown the table, I looked around at all the other pleased customers enjoying their food. It took 2 hours for my food to come out, but it was worth the wait. I was extremely excited to try the fig pros... Great, they spelled it wrong. Prosciutto pizza, which, upon arriving at my table, looks like serrated kidneys lying atop bird shit. The breadsticks were less half-baked than Dave Chappelle, and the sparkling kitchen was marred by the blood of the most recent waitress. She was attempting to crawl across the floor and out the door after being beaten with a whisker by Amy. I like
Yes.
that. That sounds like a creepypasta episode.
Oh God, Amy's Baking Company creepypasta. Don't get people started, please.
Okay, I'll just continue. Okay, number 5. I was visiting my friend when I found this place. It seemed to be glowing the distance. I heard a whisper in the wind saying that it was time. I entered. I was greeted, and then the co-owner of the restaurant came out and saw me and said, "Are you Jay Gatsby?" I said, "Bitch, I might be." A clown clutches a spoon, crying in the distance. You can hear the stars dancing. Posted by JG, South El Monte, California. Oh my god. They're on a roll.
Oh, the Great Gatsby. We're gonna get them involved
Yeah, sure.
now.
Yeah,
Oh, instead of Leonardo DiCaprio with the wine glass, it's just Sammy looking at Amy in the distance. Like, that's when I knew he was my lover.
Oh god. I think this is the second episode that we'd be using Gatsby as a reference. You know, the other episode, which is the one with that guy from Big Bang. It'd be included in the description box later. Okay, and then next, oh, this one's a pretty long one. Number 4. Dear Miranda and Katie, you're both heroes. Leave now while you still can. You're probably never going to read this, but if you do, you should totally come to California. Southern California. But seriously, the fact that you lasted a month and a half? Hot damn, ladies. Katie, don't cry. I'm sure you figured this out by now, but this is the best thing that's ever happened to you. Miranda, I seriously don't know how you hang in there. I'd have been long gone. 10 out of 10 to both of you, and seriously, if you're ever in Cali, shoot me an email. I'll buy both or either of you a drink. Seriously. Addendum. After some thought, I realized that this is unfair to all other prior employees of Amy's. If you have proof of employment at Amy's, I'll happily buy you a beer should you find yourself in the area. Posted by Brandon T., San Jose, California.
All right, he's a pickup artist, it sounds like.
Yeah, because, you know, it sounds like a hard sell to me. Okay, number 3. Here we go. To the guy below me who making me speak an Italian accent, you coming here to me and I show you something else. I make Palestinian style mincemeat out of you. I'm not Italian. What's the matter? You can tell an Italian from a Jew. My name is Sammy Salomon. On what stupid Gentile planet is Salomon an Italian name? You don't believe me. You look on my Facebook page. You see my friends list all with the fine Bouzaglo name with Hebrew words on their profile, and some still living in the chosen country, Israel. When I say I'm a gangster, I maybe tell a joke by I talking Jewish mafia, not Italian. Italian mafias aren't kosher. Now order something or posted by Sammy B, New York, New York. There's a verification. This is actually Sammy from ABC. Might be another troll.
It sounds like a troll. Just, I mean, because at one point before Gordon came, he was like, I fuck you up. I'm a gangster. I've been in it. And his ties to the mafia in Europe is actually legit. And we'll probably talk about that later, but it was pretty legit stuff.
I don't know. Every time he says that he's a gangster or something, I'm like, yeah, so much for a gangster. You're a cuck. You're her wife, or if cuck's not the right word, I'd just say coward. I think that's a more appropriate word here. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2. Oh, this was my first job ever. I was 15 years old 7 years ago, and this place was a nightmare to say the least. I am so not surprised this is happening to them, but I am honestly pretty shocked it took this long for people to see the kind of service they are running. Amy and her husband were not as cruel when they started out as they are now. I helped open up the bakery with them, and so I think the excitement of a new place made them a little more positive. I wasn't trained at a single thing, so I was yelled at for everything I did. I was paid servers minimum wage with no tips. If I remember correctly, it was $3.75 then. The only positive thing I remember about this place was that we shut down for lunch, and the chef, they had someone working with Amy at the time, would cook for us. I was fired after dropping a massive tray of cupcakes. I used to feel bad about it, but now knowing they weren't even homemade, I don't care. Zero facts given here. Good luck with your business now, guys. I am also so beyond mortified and ashamed that they call themselves Christians. They are giving Jesus a bad name. At what age did you two lose your compassion? Posted by Ava M. in Paradise Valley. Finally, according to Phoenix New Times, the Yelp comment that started it all by Amy herself. Dear Joel L., it is blatantly obvious to me why you were alone on a Saturday night. Read any of the reviews that have been written about us and you will see that everyone loves us. The only people that don't is our competition. We knew you have been sent by another restaurant before you even ordered your $14 pizza. The pizza was fresh and amazing. The reason the tomatoes had different texture was because I used 3 different heirloom tomatoes and some of them are sun-dried. So of course they are going to have a different texture from the fresh ones. But perhaps you're only accustomed to tasting the ones that come fresh from the can. Moving on to the store-bought dough comment, please. My dough is made fresh every day from 100% organic ingredients. Perhaps your palate is not sophisticated enough to tell the difference. As for you having the patio all to yourself, unless you've been living in another planet, it is summertime in Arizona, moron. Only tramps and losers want to sit outside in 110 temperatures. We are hiring because we are so busy that we need to hire more people. You just so happened to come right after a huge rush, and the people did not change their mind for the margarita pizza they ordered. They were still enjoying their amazing Caesar salad, and I thought perhaps you would appreciate not having to wait for so long for your pizza, which was just coming out of the oven. I am the chef and the owner, and I'm the one that made your pizza. And as for the no smoking comment, everyone knows that it is against the law to smoke within 20 feet of a public place. But perhaps you think you are above the law. Have a little respect. Not everyone wants to subject themselves to being around secondhand smoke. And as for the overpriced menu items, if you think that $12 is too much for an entree sized organic salad, or $14 is too much for an amazing pizza, then perhaps you should go to the pita jungle that is just a stone's throw away. And if you get lucky, maybe you can even dig up someone up to take with you so you can share a $5 falafel. Do us a favor and keep your ugly face and your ugly opinions to yourself and go back to the restaurant that you really work at. I would love for anyone who reads this review to come to ABC and try our pizza. If you don't like it, then I guarantee you don't have to pay for it. Unquote. Wow! Oh.
Live on pay-per-view this Sunday. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Like, you know what? Amy can cut a promo, not gonna lie.
And she still wouldn't be good.
Yeah. Like, yeah, because I still remember, I admit I had a hard time watching that episode in Kitchen Nightmares because Amy's so insufferable, and then she really has a tendency to think that everything is a personal attack. And then I still remember that line where she said that, "Are you going to attack me even for getting some fucking water?" And that may not be the exact quote, but yeah, that's the gist of what she said. You are being told what is wrong with the restaurant, and most of the problem revolves around the couple, or okay, with Amy, because Sammy is so afraid to hurt his wife's feelings when all he had to do is to tell her the truth, and then this happens. Like, what the hell, man? And like, just because someone gave a not so favorable review, Amy accused him of being, being with the competition. She even went ad hominem. Like, instead of addressing the review about the food, she went on and criticized the person being alone on a Saturday night, about the appearance, about how he might be working for the competition, and give a negative review to this person. Like, I know some writers are hired to write negative reviews occasionally, or some other, conspiracy theory that once proliferated on YouTube, wherein you are allowed to compare two products and then give a better favorable review to one product because that's the product that actually paid you to create the review. But it's not in Amy's place to accuse a simple restaurant reviewer that. She really considered this as an attack. Like, yeah, $12 for an entree and then $14 for a pizza. I'm not sure if that's expensive by your standards. Sometimes I end up converting and then comparing with the prices of the pizza that we have here, and I'm willing to pay a little premium to pizza if I know it's good. And most of the time I only find that out after eating the pizza. And in this case, we were talking a while ago about how Sammy is a gangster, and then maybe that's why Amy got the false confidence that she can act as a gangster too.
No, certainly it's because he has the money to actually like buy a place. Because actually, one of the things that I found interview wise was that she did an interview with like some blog or some company, I don't remember which one, but she was talking about why she got into baking and why she got into cooking food. It was because her mom had like stage 4 cancer or something like that. So she was like, oh yeah, my mom got me into cooking at a young age when I was growing up, and so I was baking stuff and I was doing all this stuff. So then when my mom died, I decided that I wanted to become a full-fledged pastry chef or just a cook in general. And anybody that criticizes my food is criticizing my mom.
Oh,
so that's where the animosity is coming from, because they feel like she's attacked. They feel like that people are attacking her mom when it's like, no, nobody even knew that your mom got you into it. So she's taking it as a personal attack because of her situation with her mother.
That's really unfair on the critics. That it sounds like guilt tripping, you know?
Yeah, it basically is.
So now it's like Amy had to create this echo chamber, and whenever that bubble is burst, I'm not sure if the analogy is correctly expressed there, but whenever someone tries to tell her the food is not good and she is told to improve, it's not even destructive criticism, it's constructive, and she still doesn't interpret it that way, and then she'd even go as far as guilt tripping. I must have missed that along the way, since I got a little preoccupied with the timeline and the aftermath of the closure that the couple tried so hard to avoid, because this is a business. Because let's give her the benefit of that. Let's give Amy the benefit of the doubt that this is her dream, that this is what she has wanted to do all her life. Okay, we get that. Every aspiring chef, every professional cook, so to speak, has a dream of putting up a restaurant and making quick bucks out of it. But you have people who actually tasted your food and tell you what needs to be improved, and then instead of improving it, they would, well, Amy on her part would go as far as spiking the food with spices that would potentially harm the customer, which is why I can't help but think that the person or the people who arrived in the restaurant before Gordon Ramsay did our plans, because maybe somebody tipped them off. Yeah, Amy spiked your pizza with spices and she wished to hurt you using that food. They must have been given that tip, and then they decided, no, I'm canceling my order.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
And it could also be that she might have had that dream, but she wanted to here in America, usually the more shortcuts you take, the more appreciated it is. I don't know how it is in the Philippines, but a lot of people over here, they like to take shortcuts. They don't like to, spend the time getting experience working in culinary places, or getting the necessary referrals from like different chefs that they've worked with, not getting experience in restaurants. They just want to be able to say like, oh, hey, I got myself a restaurant at a very young age, and I'm able to do all this. And I didn't have to, and obviously I had help from my parents who have more money than I do. But they want to try to get there as quickly as possible without having to do much. So that's kind of as if you accomplish that and are successful at it, it's fault. And I say this false, and I say that this is not proper, and nobody should be thinking like this, but it's encouraged. Like, take the most shortcuts as possible to make yourself the most money and screw everybody else, because we don't care about customers. All we care about is profit.
Yeah, don't worry. Some shortcuts happen here as well. Like, I admit I don't like that it once trended online that you need some growth hacking secrets. I think my list is showing growth hacking secrets. Like, why do you need some hack for everything? Why don't you just go try to do it the conventional way? And maybe if you got bored with the procedure, that's when you try to find ways to hack the process. Not so, in other words, you master the process before you go for the hack. And in this case, there are a lot of that's why there are a lot of restaurants that don't last long. It's more about glorification of oneself and less about serving what the people wanted.
Some people like to treat it as like it's their own personal fan club. Like
God.
Hotel Hell, which is another show that Gordon Ramsay did, was exactly like that. The first episode was just like a guy just like, yeah, I have parties, and all we do is just do fan club stuff, and all the other players are like, guy's such a dick.
Yeah, it's like before you put up a fan club, you at least try to monetize your skills first, you know. And then the fandom would eventually follow after that, you know. There are a lot of hacks that exist, and then while I was researching this, I can't help but feel bad a little for Gordon Ramsay whenever he gets the blame, because as of today, people were saying there was this other YouTuber that mentioned that the estimated number of or the estimated percentage of restaurants that closed after Kitchen Nightmares was 80%, and of course that includes Amy's Baking Company, because you then realize that yeah, it's easy to use Amy's Baking Company as an analogy to everything that went wrong or anything that can possibly go wrong with not knowing how to handle feedback. On the other hand, there are a lot of restaurants or people that put up restaurants that don't know how to operate them, and they think that yeah, they can put up their own business, be the CEO. Oh god, you will go with that CEO thing again. Be the CEO of their own company at a young age and realize that they were so young they don't even have enough experience to run a restaurant, and base what they offer on what they wanted. Sure, I get the idea that yeah, you wanted to serve food that you like. The problem is you are not always your own customer. Who would benefit from this food? Who would benefit from this ambience? Who are you supposed to target as a market? And you know, if you have if you try to rewatch that episode from Kitchen Nightmares, Amy was all about me, not even we, but me. Like I'm, you know, she will not be naming the restaurant Amy's Baking Company. She's not that if she's not that narcissistic. And because I think that's one attribute that I also noticed there, that she can't change her market's mind about anything. So what happens is everyone that gave a negative review to Amy's Baking Company, she badmouths them. Either yeah, badmouths the people at Yelp, badmouths the people at Reddit, because well, Reddit got wind of it, and then badmouth people on Facebook. I really hate how they justified how they would buy some cakes from Walmart and then resell it and make it appear that it's their own creations when in reality it's not, you know. Oh, we
Yeah,
have
which is
10.
by the way,
Mhm.
something that wasn't brought up with Gordon. Like Gordon thought that they were authentic, and she's like, "Well, this is the only good thing about this place is these desserts that you made." And then never. I don't think he still does. I don't think he doesn't even know that they're still store bought. Because if he
Mm-mm.
did realize they were store bought, he would have left faster than he did.
Oh yeah. On my end, I end up thinking that if you're going to run a restaurant, make sure that you know how to cook. I've seen some restaurants fail because, well, chefs are more preoccupied with what they wanted to serve as opposed to what the market serves.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I can't help but think of Jollibee, because everyone here in the Philippines often forgets that Jollibee grew because they base their menu on what the people want. It started as, this is not sponsored by Jollibee, by the way, disclaimer there. I just had to share that it started as an ice cream shop, and then people started asking, they have hamburgers, they have fries, and a few days later the owner updated the menu to include burgers and fries and soda. And then basically that's how you put up a restaurant. You start small, and then you grow based on what does the market want. It's not always about what you want, but what the market wants here. In that aspect alone, I can say that Amy's Baking Company failed, and the attitude that they exuded online just secured everything. Yeah, before I finally end this episode, any final thoughts on your end?
Oh yeah. So, thing about Amy is does not for any reason want to do anything that would have to require her to actually do something. Sounds like somebody who is very spoiled, grew up in a very spoiled part of her life, and finally found somebody in Vegas who was a playa in her mind, and it's like, oh, has money, so maybe I can find a way to. And who knows what got them to get married? Like, what was the determining factor? I don't know. But to then just be like, okay, we're gonna move to Scottsdale, we're gonna open a restaurant, and we're just gonna raise hell on anybody that doesn't appreciate anything that what we do, because we're rich. Nobody should ever question us. But of course, everybody's gonna question you because everybody hates the rich. And besides the fact that Sammy got arrested multiple times with his connection, I mean, he's banned in 3 countries in Europe.
Wow.
For a reason. And the fact that they had to move to Israel because they moved to California, but then there was some problems with Sammy's real estate stuff. It turns out he was scamming people, or that the buildings weren't up to building codes. Again, trying to take shortcuts with building codes, which you can't do in California. They will come at you hard. So then they had to flee to Israel, which is where they now live. And the one thing that Amy does now, she does cooking videos. She tries to teach people how to bake, which is basically what any YouTube cooking show tries to do. They try to put their own spin on things.
Oh,
and then when you try it, and then when you find out it's not an original recipe, it's just something that they put together. It's like, okay, can we really trust you with this? But yeah, so she's an example of a larger issue that I see online, which is that everybody thinks they can cook. Everybody thinks they can do a cooking channel. Anybody thinks that they can own a restaurant without having to go through all of the necessary regulations and requirements. And they just want to get there because this is a desire for them to want to make an income for themselves. And instead of actually going above and beyond to, at least be passionate about the stuff that you do, it's a matter of, let's take the shortest amount of shortcuts because, I mean, that's what Big Daddy Trump did. So that's why you see all these life hack people that always do this all the time. It's like, well, if he did it, then we could do it too. And like, no. That's not the way to go about things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my deal.
Wow. Thank you very much, Joe. I really appreciate those insights that you have right there. I'm glad that I ended up focusing or getting more time allotted into the food and less about the drama. Maybe less about the drama and more about the attitude that these people exuded. So yeah, and how about you, dear listeners? Well, I would really encourage you that you subscribe to our channel, click like, and subscribe. Make sure to click the notification bell to make sure that you would be alerted of our future videos. Don't worry, we would be coming back occasionally to foodie beauty content because, well, that's what you want. And to make sure that you would like other topics that to be discussed here, I would also appreciate that you would post some suggestions on the comment section, and we do what we can to get those topics done in time. What do we have on the next episode of Untold Legends Season 3? We would be talking about Defy Media. So we would be looking forward to having you here again on YouTube. And soon enough, this podcast will be available in other podcasting platforms as well. And I really appreciate that you would that you joined us here with JoeDini in order to discuss topics other people may have discussed it. We have our own spin into it, maybe because we have a different point of view to that, and we would also appreciate having your point of view shared on the comments as well. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.